Hello and welcome to week 10. I got some good feedback on my last video and I'm making some changes. You may have already seen I have new thumbnail design that I created myself without AI. I know the AI stuff was a big problem last week. I was using GPT to create some thumbnails, and then I switched to Gemini because GPT was down at that time. The outcry was heard loud and clear. My thumbnails may not be great, but I will be improving them over time and they will be my own. Also, on top of that, the structure. Staring at the code for most of the video wasn't very interesting, and I agree with that. So this week I'm trying a little bit different, so let's jump into it. Where we left off last week, we were working on the battle system. But that battle system was hard-coded and static and incomplete. So this week, we've made the battle more flexible and animated and stat-driven with actual visual feedback. It feels like a real battle now. This is not one isolated change. The enemy data, the damage formulas, defend, item values, animations, player and enemy visuals, and the HP UI for the enemy. All of this has been changed and updated, and now battles have some structure and some feedback and the ability to scale out. Let's go see that in action. Alright, we started a fight here. Now we have Bob, and not just a blue square. Isn't that glorious? When I select attack, you'll see Bob actually attack and the goblin take damage, and then he'll fight back. We have that smooth little movement there and the flash when they get hit, and you see the feedback of the goblin's HP going down. But not only that, the damage wasn't static. We actually saw a number that is random and based on stats that Bob has and based on the stats that the goblin has. If I defend, it doesn't just skip the turn and show that message. Now you see less damage. As well as the items. The items now have formulas for how much they heal. And we still have these 3 items, so my potion heals 50 now. And I can attack again, and this time I did 19 damage and he's defeated. But if we look again, this time I do 18 damage. So last battle I was able to kill him in 2 hits, but this time I'm not quite strong enough to get 2 hits because of the random value that is existing in the damage formula. In last week's battle system, everything was too hard-coded. The enemy stats and the damage numbers were fixed, and this makes creating future enemies a pain or even impossible. Every enemy would have to be adjusted in the battle code. This is not sustainable or scalable. So that's why we've introduced the new resource file that we can create every enemy off of. This completely solves the problem to have a data-driven enemy. Gives us a good reason to build it out this way. This also follows the pattern of our characters, which are already data-driven. So as you can see, this week we added that base level enemy data, and then we added that goblin on top. And now everything is clean. The implication here is that I can create new enemies very quickly just by creating a file rather than diving into the code. Also, damage now actually is tied to some stats, and it's real and has a formula. That means we can make enemies harder, we can make our character stronger, we can level them up, potentially we can tweak it, and that is the power of having it tied to stats and having a formula. If we just look at the formula here, it's not a crazy one, but it's an effective one. Here we have this base damage is the attacker's attack times 2 minus the defender's defense. Then we have a little bit of a random variance in here, and this tells us how much bigger or smaller it can go from the base damage we calculated, and then we just multiply that by the base damage, and we get our final damage. Here, the formula for when we're defending is pretty simple. We basically just divide the damage in half. All of that goes a long way to making the battles more real and more complete. But in my opinion, nothing makes it feel more real than all of the actual feedback. Feedback is super important. Without it, it kind of feels bland. But now with these small updates, suddenly it feels like a real battle. The way the character lunges forward, the flash when you're hit, and the knockback, these really sell that we're in a battle. Just watch. It really looks like these two are duking it out. It's, if I'd say so myself, quite beautiful. I don't want to bore you with the implementation details too hard, but somebody's definitely going to want to see it. So I'm just going to slowly scroll through the battle animation stuff. Another reason I don't want to be too hung up on it is eventually in the future, this battle animation stuff will be abstracted out and we'll be able to do a lot more with it. So this is only a temporary set of code here. Also, two, I think, pretty important updates. Last week when I hit the goblin, there was no indication if he was close to dying or not. You just keep spamming. But the simple addition of his HP is like a huge game changer. You know exactly if he's in killing distance or not. Also, having Bob tied to his actual sprite that I've created and that tiny bit of animation there, I think that really sells it. And now when I create extra characters, I have the ability to tie their character art to the character. And hopefully soon I'll get back to the art creation and get an enemy in here as well and have the goblin not just be a red square. All of these changes make the battles feel a lot more real, and it unlocks the ability to build out enemies and allies very easily with new resources and new art. So at this point, I think the battle's pretty much done for the basic battle flow, and I think that unlocks the ability for me to move on to other systems. Typically, I would spend a whole lot more time making the battle system way better, but my goal in this series here is to actually finish a game, and so I'm not going to get stuck building out new battle features and cool animations and great art, because that would basically never, ever finish. That concludes my updates for this week. This week was a really good one, and I also changed up how I make my videos and took feedback from the last video. Thank you so much to all of you who commented. Even if you were harsh, I super appreciate it. I was able to make these changes that I did to this video solely because of your feedback. So keep it coming. Even hate comments, whatever you want to see, any changes. If you love something about the old format better, let me know. From this point forward, I am committed to being AI free for a number of reasons. And just quickly, the first reason is clearly there is some disdain for AI, and I understand that. So I want to just avoid that altogether. Why would I even bother with AI if there's even, say, 10% of people who are put off by it? Number two, someone raised ethical concerns. I don't know where to land on that debate, but if I don't use AI, then I avoid it entirely. And finally, my skills don't get better if I rely on AI to make my thumbnails. I'm going to be making my own thumbnails from now on. That's my perspective on it. But if anybody has disagreements or even stronger reasons, put them in the comments. Again, thank you all for watching. Even though my channel is very small, I appreciate every single one of you. It's so cool that I'm able to share my game creation journey with all of you guys. In that vein, if you want to see me actually finish a game for once, please subscribe. If you just want to help me out, a like really helps. Comments, feedback really helps. Super appreciate all of the love my channel's getting. I'll see you next week.